Hey everyone, Kristin here. I am here with Alicia Deer, and I'm going to say this real quick. I love fangirling now. I never fangirled, and I'll talk about that later, but I totally am fangirling over your content on TikTok. I got to look at where else you might have content, but I don't go and look at people's pages because imagine I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
So many people I've interviewed. I just wouldn't have time and I was masked the whole time I was doing it. So I just and I would go to other people's pages and be like, oh my God, I'll look at all the things I'm not doing right. Like that's how my mind worked, right? And
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm unmasked and know my diagnosis and all that. And now I'm like, oh, this is what it means to fangirl. Woo! So I fangirl over you, and I'm so excited that you were like, I'll come on your show because now I'm like, I can just spend an hour with her. Yes.
Yeah. And if all goes well, we'll do it again. I
Yes.
listen, my favorite thing about TikTok is that it's the only space I've been making content since 2018. I started making real estate content, like educational content, and that was more utility. And now like I've started using TikTok about a year ago just to kind of because I didn't know what else to do. I was just like, I'm losing my fucking mind. Like the
Right.
world, I can't do this. And then nobody around me was capable of being honest about it. And I was like, the people here are telling the truth. I'm
Yeah.
going to go talk to them. And because I feel like for people like us, if you're neurodivergent and you spent your whole life masking and you reach this point where you're like, the literal world around us has revealed itself to be an absolute farce and evil, like I simply cannot pretend anymore. I just can't do it. I would, and like, not to be grim, but like, I would literally rather be dead. That's what I keep telling the people in my life. Like, you guys need me to be someone who wants to die, literally.
Yeah.
That's what you need me to be. You want me to be someone who is hiding for dear life. And I can't, if you love me, then you either need to let me go or accept me for who I am. But like, that was the version of myself that I had to become to survive this obviously evil world that I can no longer pretend in, you know?
Exactly. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is so neurodivergent way to start. So now tell everybody who the hell you are and what you
Hi.
do.
It's like Alan on giving my whole backstory. Okay. My name is Alicia Deer. Start there.
Yep.
Tampa,
Perfect.
Florida, lesbian, neurodivergent, former. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'll keep going. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's so hard to like stop because we don't care. Like we don't need that. But I know the people that are listening and watching are like, oh, wait a minute, who is this?
Touche, touche. My name is Alicia. I'm a realtor in Tampa, Florida, and that's how I started making content in general. But in now, like the context that you and I know each other through is more through that more parasocial, colloquial TikTok, just sort of getting to express ourselves candidly, which is my favorite expression of TikTok, to be honest. But
Yeah,
yes,
I love the immediacy of it. I love the ability to do all kinds of different things with TikTok. Like I run under multiple pen names, and that's super fun for me.
yeah,
And it was so freeing for me to have that because I didn't bring my network name or followers or whatever with me. I just wanted to start from like pure voice. I
yep,
don't want my name associated. Not that I was hiding. I was just, when you get diagnosed and you're like, oh geez, oh my God, I missed this huge thing. And then you go through that whole unmasking process and you understand all the ways that it's shown as a deficit model and all this kind of stuff, and all the ways that you freaking had to raw dog and cope through life and go, oh, wait a minute, I'm not a deficit based person. Look at what I had to do. And I freaking survived. I'm still sitting here. I'm still capable.
yep,
My capacity is enormous. It's not
yep.
what you get told it is.
Yeah, our capacity is enormous. It's just not consistent, and that's fine. Like that's something I've had to accept about myself. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I have had people in my life, like as I unmask, I've had people accuse me of being bipolar. And I'm like, no, I literally just have feelings. I don't know why. Like maybe no one else does. Maybe everyone else's feelings like stop at a 3, but they go all the way to a 10. And it's not a bad thing. We have an incredible capacity for feeling and experiencing and creating, but it's not consistent. And so I feel like once we can learn to accept that and love that about ourselves, I mean, first of all, are there still people that think I'm bipolar? Probably.
Yeah.
You
Same.
know, like, and you think I'm bipolar because I'm expressing my capacity and my limits authentically as they arise, and we don't have honest conversations about how different neurotypes respond to the world. And yeah, I'm done waiting for people to accommodate me. I'm going to accommodate myself whether they like it or not, and it is what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think about it like, okay, so autism and ADHD is what I
Yeah.
was diagnosed with. I knew about the ADHD, but I didn't really know about it, even though I had done shows about it and whatever. I didn't really understand until I got the big diagnosis. And I can see it, all over the place. And I see, oh, yeah, I have huge capacity. I can freaking run circles around things. But if I don't regulate, I don't need more stimulation. Like I am not a person that I tried the Vyvanse and the Adderall, whatever. Those are important things. And all the brain boost stuff that you see on TikTok. I've tried all that. But the drop for me is huge because I don't have a problem having dopamine. I don't have a problem with that at all. I have tons of
Yeah.
it. It's that the
Good.
drop is where I can't, when you take, and I would agree to do things that are inhuman. And I already do inhuman things. And so the burnout came faster for me. So now it's not about, for me, it's not about needing medication in order to focus. Oh, I can focus like a mother. I can focus. But if I don't regulate, my whole thing is about regulation, regulation, regulation.
That's literally my number one priority right now. That's my North Star. Like, literally everything goes back to how do I feel in my body? That's it. Because like I feel like you probably understand this very well. You spend your entire life being gaslit about your own experience, and so you divorce your brain from your body, and you develop this almost like sadistic or masochistic relationship with yourself where you're like, you're the problem, you push through, this is what you're feeling is wrong because that's what you're told. And look, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody in my life, especially not my parents, to be honest, because culturally speaking, they're Hispanic, and it was a different time, and this shit didn't exist back then, and it was
Right.
hard enough that it was hard enough. There were so many things that were hard enough for them. They had too many kids, and that's on them. But when you've got that many kids running around, and you have one child who is so sensitive, like, yeah, it's going to be frustrating. Like I dated a woman with 3 kids somewhat recently, and I never understood how overstimulating that was until then. And I know my look, I'm going to be honest, my mom definitely has some kind of ADHD. Maybe even she might be a little autistic. Her twin sister is definitely autistic. And my dad has a little bit of autism. His daughter with his first wife definitely has a little bit of autism. So they were already dysregulated from the jump.
Right.
But yeah, it's you program yourself to believe that you are the thing that's wrong, not the environment. So now that's kind of like when I say, like, I'm going to accommodate myself, even like if no one else does. My body is now my antenna. It
Yes.
tells me when something needs my attention. So I feel like when your system is regulated and calibrated, you become a clear channel for perceiving instead of judging, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I wrote my second book that I wrote was about being a tuning fork. And it was about my whole diagnosis process. And I went, oh, that's what I am, because other people come to me to
Yep.
regulate. And I would get roped into regulating other people's relationships, where that's why I became a consultant, because then well, if I'm going to be blamed and scapegoated for all this shit that's going on, I might as well get paid a lot of money to come in and be hired to tell you, this is what's messed up with what you're doing. This is what you need to do to change it. But then you get roped into it personally, and you're like, why do I keep getting roped into these triangles that I don't want any, that take you a bit to figure out? Like, it takes you a minute, and sometimes you're already in it, like really thick. And then you go, oh shit, how do I wind my way out of that without catastrophe and without pitchforks?
Yeah, no, I trust me. As a realtor, learning boundaries has
Oh,
been,
yeah.
yeah, it's tough because, like, I feel that you and I are the same. We have this a servant's heart. You want genuinely, like, You're not giving for love, you're giving from love, because we do have so much love to give. The
Yes.
problem is that until you learn your own capacity and limits, and until you learn how to read what your body is telling you, you constantly are depleting yourself because you don't know when to stop. So yeah, that's very real. I totally
That's
get it.
another reason why stimulus didn't work for me, because then I would get even more involved in these things. And then not only am I approaching burnout at much higher rate, I'm also having to detonate relationships instead of just calmly stepping back with boundaries, right? There was no like pause. It's just boom. So I stopped, even the brain boost stuff on TikTok, and I went, oh, okay. Now my body does not need this shit. I just need to
Yep.
pay attention and
There you
calm
go.
down and step out and have a pause to step out earlier. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't want to be involved in this dynamic. I'm getting pulled in again. I figured it out sooner.
Yep.
And now I can just I'm going to just step back a bit, like,
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Like I totally relate. I've gotten to a point now with like my family and stuff where whenever we go out, if I feel myself becoming dysregulated or overstimulated, I will literally just say, I'm overstimulated and go outside. And they get it. Like, because they've been joking around about me being autistic for a minute. But now that, like, not that I have a formal diagnosis, we'll get into that, but like we're pretty sure.
yeah.
um,
I
but
didn't need a formal diagnosis, but I got one because people owed me favors. Okay.
there you go. There you go. And if you have any recommendations for getting tested in Florida, I would honestly love to actually get the diagnosis done, because it would be really validating. But yes, it's being able to identify when you're getting to a point where you're about to have a meltdown. Because
Oh, yeah.
I've done that many times with the people that I love, and it's always so embarrassing. Like, I was proud of myself recently because I've had some really close friends for decades who I was not like, we were just not getting along on my birthday this past year. And instead of me like doing that thing where I detonate the entire, like make it a bigger thing, I basically just told them, I don't have the capacity to be what you need, and you don't have the capacity to be what I need. Let's take space.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing personal. I love you. I know that nothing about the way that you're showing up for me is intentionally malicious. Nothing about what's happening here is that anyone wants to hurt anyone. And yet we are both being hurt.
Yeah.
Let's take space.
Isn't it interesting to like learn how to have that pregnant pause? Like just okay.
Mm-hmm.
And to be like, okay, listen, I'm really ticked off. Or like with my mom, for example, driving with her is a mission towards insanity. Okay. And so when we're done, I'm like, listen, I just need to go in my room. I'm not angry. I'm not upset, but I need you to not touch me. I need you to not come in and try to help my pillows and because that's part of the problem. Just
Mm-hmm.
leave me alone. I need space. And
Mm-hmm.
we do okay with that. And she
Good.
does it too, because she's the tism too. She just didn't know it either. Just
Well,
her and
apples and trees.
OCD, right?
Oh,
So I was filled in my life with people with autism undiagnosed and OCD. So their way of regulating is to contain things. And here I am with
oh my.
ADHD, and I need to, I need to do that. So I was always calm because I learned how to be calm under compression because I had to. And so that makes you like a ninja regulator. And people are like, let me plug into that. And you're like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, no, because it's like you're a battery pack you're giving it all away. Yeah, totally. That's very real. I totally get it.
Let's talk about the alcohol piece, because one of your TikToks, I mean, all of them are phenomenal. Everybody, we're going to give you where you can find her, but seriously, one of them you talked about alcohol. Talk to me about your experience with that, because I'm right there with you.
So I started drinking. I had my first taste of alcohol when I was 14 years old, and then I started drinking somewhat routinely when I was 15. Um, I'm in the middle of my siblings, and I have a couple of older sisters, and like, I would go out with my older sister, and I made friends with people who were way too old to be my friends at that age. And I did my first keg stand at 15, and I realized there's a picture of me at 15 doing a keg stand, which at the time I was so proud of. I'm like, oh God, that's why my brain's so fucked. But it was literally when you are a high masking, very, very sensitive child, and like you're gay and it's not okay
You're
to be
a
gay.
woman.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I found alcohol to be what every other high masking neurodivergent person finds to be, which is like the biggest relief, the biggest escape. It was like it felt like medicinal alcohol. I'm not gonna lie.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
So
great until it isn't.
100%. And then it reprograms your brain. And obviously starting drinking that young, your brain develops around that circuitry. So I basically, to make a long story short, my drinking continued to escalate, and I did eventually meet my ex-wife at FSU. We were at FSU together, and she did not drink, and she was kind of like a probation officer. So we had, in a lot of ways, I describe her as like vitamins. Like, she was really, really good for me. I think in a lot of ways there was a lot of codependency in that relationship from the both of us, but we were all so young and we didn't even know what the fuck that meant. It didn't
Right.
mean
Right.
we were just attracted to each other and we had good conversations, which was, it's so different now, right? Now we have like a 39-point list where it has to be anyway. But so yeah, she, over the time that we were together, I cut back on drinking little by little. And then it was after we split, I met this woman who was 100% sober, who sort of, she wanted me to go to AA. Not even going to get into AA. I'm not a huge fan of it. And I'll just say this about AA. I don't like anything. I don't care what it is, whether it's a religious institution or a support group. It does not matter. Anything that requires me to forfeit my agency
Yes.
and my free will is a no. Period. And that was all, that always bothered me. I went to a couple of like the rainbow meetings nearby me here, and I met some really cool people, but I could never get behind the idea that I was incapable of helping myself.
Same. I could
Yeah.
never raise my hand and say, like if you have to go poop, you have to say, I'm so and so and I'm a this. I'm
Right.
codependent because I went to Codependence Anonymous, or I'm an alcoholic. Like, I'm not denying that I had those behaviors, but I'm not going to like slap myself on something that then because we take it literally. It's
Oh
like,
yeah. And words are,
no.
yeah, words are spells. I think people take for granted that the words that we use are very, very powerful. And our brains, you believe what you tell yourself. You don't believe what's true. You believe what you repeat. So the more you say it, the more you believe it. So yeah, to me, like, I find that whole thing to be very problematic. But if it works for people, it works for people. I'm not here to judge. I'll just say that it was not for me. What ultimately, to fast forward, what ultimately ended up getting me sober was like, and let me be very clear. I will still occasionally drink because my relationship to alcohol now is not what they describe in AA, where it's like, if I even have a drop of alcohol, I'm gonna get blacked out and crash my car. Like,
You're wearing two different
no,
flip-flops in some city you don't know where you are. Yeah, exactly. Which I know
right?
people that have that problem. And that
And
wasn't me.
that's,
But
yeah,
I had
exactly.
others, but not that one.
10,000%. So for me, it was more like I just kind of used it as a hack because I knew that
Yes.
it was, and then I became chemically dependent on it at a certain point. But I had, a couple of years ago, I was in a relationship with someone where the dynamic was very confusing and low key, ultimately kind of abusive. And when you're being, again, when you're gaslit in childhood, you're programmed to already accept gaslighting.
Yeah.
So I just accepted that I was the problem. And I was like, well, I need to do everything possible to stop being a problem. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, like, the level of gratitude that I have for that experience is, there's been nothing in my life that has taught me more about myself than that relationship. Because when you are determined to eliminate the problem and you regard yourself as the problem, it's almost this like neurotic compulsion to erase the things about yourself that you knew have been holding you back. You know what I'm saying? Because I loved her so much and I loved her kids and I just wanted it to work. And I was like, I'll do anything. I'll like, and it's not like I'm not going to become someone different. It's I will remove the things that I know are harming me and other people. So that was the best thing I got from that relationship. But I ended up microdosing on psilocybin. And that low key, like during that time, I didn't even set the intention that I wanted to stop drinking or anything like that. It was just that you can't drink on the days that you microdose. And I found myself not wanting to drink even on the days that I didn't microdose. And after about a month, I lost interest in alcohol altogether. And then after about 2 months, I think I had a drink. That was like my first drink that I had in a while. And I didn't finish it because I could taste the alcohol in it. I got a Bloody Mary. And I love Bloody Marys, but I couldn't even finish it because I could taste the vodka. And that was when I realized that there was something about the psilocybin had done some additional rewiring, or it helped me kind of finalize that chapter or close that loop. So I will still occasionally like have a drink here or there, but it's not. In the last 2 years, I've probably had 10 drinks or less. And it's usually, I'm always out with somebody or with a group. I used to drink on like alone all the time. So
oh my
it's
God. That was the
completely different.
majority of my drinking was just me alone. It's 4 o'clock. Where's the vodka? Where's the wine? Oh God, the wine. Oh my God,
Yeah.
the amount of red wine. And I miss it. Like I had a friend over recently and they drink, and I was like, oh, it's been, I don't know, 3 years since I've had a drop of alcohol. Sure, I'll have, and I knew I wasn't worried about it. And I had it, and I was like, oh man, I miss red wine. This tastes so good. But you know what? God, when you're this sensitive, once you like you figure out how to get access to yourself, like to your core, you don't want to spend any amount of time away from that. You just
That's
don't.
it. That's literally it. Like, because for me, what it was, the reason I stopped drinking wasn't anything except that I was starting to find me.
Yeah.
Alcohol drowns you out. And it's extremely effective for numbing. And I'll say, as a coping mechanism, it's absolutely brilliant if you're neurodivergent. It's honestly, I forgive myself, and I think it makes perfect sense that we chose to adapt that way. It's socially acceptable. It's so easy to access.
It
Like, why
loosens
wouldn't
our inhibition so that we can be more socially available, but it comes with, oh God, what did I say? How did I behave? Like there's always the recrimination later. And then, of course, the longer you drink, the more you're tapping into anxiety spikes. And so
Oh
that
yeah.
rumination after becomes like a death sentence, and it's not
Oh
worth
God.
the 2 hours that you felt fantastic. It just becomes like that. It becomes such a negative that you're like, I can't, and I don't want to be like, I don't even get involved in relationship dynamics that start to pull anything like away from me, because I am so, oh my God, I'm here. This is the person
Yeah.
I have been missing my whole life. I actually love myself so much, even from a little kid, that I had no idea that's how I felt about myself, that I'm not going to get pulled into anything for very long, because nope, I'm going to go back over here, right here, right here.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. And your poetry, that one poem, I can't remember which one it was, but you posted a poem recently that, God, I
Was it the
screenshotted the
dogwood
stanza.
tree? Was it the dogwood tree one?
Maybe I don't even I honest to God don't even remember, but I just remember that when I was reading it, I was like, that's literally like you're describing exactly what this feels like to have this experience, which is just like I don't know how to. I'm being so non-specific right now, but yes, my point in saying that is that I know that you understand this, because it's like something to the effect of like once you have yourself, everything else is sort of incidental. Like, does that mean that I don't get lonely? Does that mean that I feel good all the time? No, of course of course I get lonely. Of course I don't feel good all the time. Of course I feel stupid sometimes. Of course I have vulnerability hangovers. Like I have self-doubt and all that shit too. But I know that for me, like, maybe you can relate to this. What helped me to get to the point where I'm at now, even before taking the alcohol out, was seeing my inner child as a separate person from me. Because when you are first learning how to love yourself, it's hard to like be that close to you.
Oh, yeah.
Much easier to take a separate thing and say, this is also me and I love it. and eventually it integrates into I love me. Does that make sense?
Totally. That's the journey I went on. That's
Yeah.
absolutely the journey I went on through unmasking. Yeah, I mean, it was so intense, and it's still, obviously it keeps happening. I mean, how long did we mask? We got years to freaking go through and re-look at things and have shit happen in your life that you go, oh yeah, I've been in this dynamic before. How am I gonna, instead of punishing yourself, which is what I used to do, oh, it's happened again. There's something wrong with you. You attract the wrong shit. You're a walking poison. And of course, I've heard that. The amount of times in my life that I've heard somebody say, uh, where I've heard somebody say to me, um, you you are the problem. You're the problem. You're at fault in all this. What you ruin, those are the three words. You ruin everything. I just wrote an essay about this. I have heard that since I was a little kid. And all when I look back at all the times that I heard you ruin everything, from family, from friends, from a husband, from other relationships, work things, everything has all been around me just saying the truth about what was going on in a situation, and people didn't want to freaking hear it. And then people recruiting me to be the one that says the truth and then getting mad.
I'm so sorry. That is, oh my God. I literally haven't even thought about how often I've heard things like that. But yes, that most recent somewhat abusive relationship triggered so many of those wounds too, because it was a language that I was so familiar with. Maybe not the exact words, you ruin everything, but I know it's a worthiness wound.
Absolutely. And
Start,
because you
yeah.
blurt out what you see and you see the psychology of things, and I had so much freaking therapy at such a young age, it was like it was ingrained for me to like look at relationship dynamics, because I had early childhood abuse, sexual abuse, which makes you even more hyper threat model watching, blah, 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 looking for micro shifts. Is that person now going to try something with me? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of that sets up all this pattern awareness that we already have and turns it
Yep.
into like steroid version of it. Right.
Yep,
And then you
absolutely.
hear, you're the problem. You're the problem. I mean, it's so funny. I just had someone today that I completely easily block them out of my life because they're not healthy for anyone to be around, and I'm sorry for them that that's their experience in life, but no. And I literally just moved through pulling myself out of a dynamic where a couple's having issues, and they pulled me in to be the stabilizer, and I recognized it pretty quickly and went, no, nicely, kindly. I didn't detonate anything. I just gently moved out because I don't want to shame anyone, right? That is not my business, is to go. I did
10,
that for 10 years and it didn't make me feel good about myself. I'm glad I did,
10,000%.
but I'm
Yeah,
done. I don't want to shame anyone, right? Because I've done all kinds
absolutely.
of stuff wrong. Hello. But
Yep.
I pull myself out and boom, I get this text out of the blue. Hey, I don't know what happened in our relationship. And I'm like, I'm not even going to go there. The old me would have been like, well, here's what happened in perfect detail, put it out for Freud to examine and say, that's exactly right. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I just said, it's okay. I'll give you the reference that you want, because they ended up doing some work for me. You, of course, can use me as a reference. I didn't say glad to hear from you. I just said, here you go. Of course, use me as a reference, and left it there, because I'm not going into that whole, uh-uh.
I know that's work, man. I know I'm
Oh,
not
that
there
takes
yet.
restraint. Oh my
Oh yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm still getting to the point where like I have to remind myself that accuracy is not permission.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not going to take that from you, but I'm going to write it down, because you need to put that in a freaking, you're a writer too. I read your thing. So
Yeah, yeah. That's why I love your
accuracy is
poetry.
not permission.
Accuracy is not permission. Like
Whew.
because your childhood experience was mine too. And here's the most ironic part about this is that our parents send us to therapy thinking that it's going to fix us and make us easier. All it does is make us more perceptive of your fuck shit. That's all it does. You're just giving us better tools to pick up when you're being an asshole. And then you get more mad at us. So anyway, whatever. I completely get it. Yeah. And I don't know if you study human design at all or if you care about that.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
huge into it. So what's your human design archetype?
I'm I was going to say manipulator. That's not a manifester generator. Manifester generator. The first word that came out
I'm
was
a manipulator.
manipulator.
So funny.
Do I know how to be
So,
manipulative? Look at the dynamics I grew up in. Oh, yes, I do. But do I
girl,
use
you gotta
that? No. Not anymore, but I have.
You gotta survive. When you're younger and you're more primal, you gotta survive. But no, so I'm a projector. And with projectors, the thing is that we see things that other people don't see. And we project it outwards and we give people information. And if you are not invited, our entire thing for human design, like what's your the thing that you have to do, right? There's like,
I don't remember.
if you're a manifest, I don't know.
Manifestor. Yeah, we should look it up. Who cares?
Let's look it up.
This is free for all. Nobody cares.
Yeah. There's no teacher here.
Sorry, listeners, but we're looking shit up right now.
So while you're looking it up, I'll just say with the projector, the thing that you're supposed to do is wait for the invitation.
Okay.
And I've been trying to lean into that a lot harder by using TikTok, because on TikTok, what I can do is I can broadcast, and anyone who's interested can come to me,
right,
without me having to go out and search for them individually, if that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you figure it out?
Yeah, mine is mine is wait to respond to. So, and I've got the dual thing. So it's a hybrid of generator, which is sustained energy, and manifestor, initiating action. So multi-hyphenate, which means I juggle many projects. Hello, how many freaking TikTok profiles do I have under pen name?
Yeah.
Interests and hobbies. We move quickly, pivot often, and excel at finding efficient paths. I actually did a thing about this where I have gotten to the point where I am so efficient that it's becoming a problem. I have to like stop and go, okay, you don't need, like, I enjoy it. Like, okay, I've got to go to a store and I've got to take care of mom and take care of this and do this. And I will do the most efficient track all the way through the store, getting things together. And I get so into it, like data. I'm like, oh, this is a good job. And then I've like forget all the feeling about it. Right. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a huge feeling being. This is not going to work all day. Like, I don't want to be Spock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you guys, so the manifesting generator, you have like your chakras, or you have more energy that you produce. So for me, like, I know that the projector archetype doesn't have like a lot of energy that it generates itself. It's very like, we absorb a lot of energy. So like, we have to be really, really careful with who we surround ourselves with, because we really do, like, I've always felt like a sponge for other people. And not like in a social chameleon sense, but like, you have the capacity, and like, I know you have this capacity, when you have the capacity to see everyone like an infinite realm of like experience, you're able to meet people where they are much more easily.
Yeah.
And you can inadvertently take on their burdens and not realize that you're doing it. And when you already don't generate a lot of energy, it costs you so much. So now what I'm trying to do is honor my body and keep my energy to myself as much as I possibly can, broadcast the signal, and align with people who feel the same way, so that I'm not burning it unnecessarily, because I don't have extra energy like you, unfortunately. That'd be fucking great.
I know. I just realized, and this is not the way it is for everyone, but for me, taking any kind of a stimulant, like I tried the whole Adderall, the Vyvanse, all that stuff, and all the brain boost stuff for dopamine boosting on TikTok that you can buy, or wherever that you can buy. And I cannot do that stuff because I already have a lot. And so that just makes me evil by 4 o'clock. When you come down, I'm like, nah, and it's horrifying. Nobody wants to be a part of that. Right. So I just know no stimulant, no caffeine, nothing.
Yep. Nope. That makes perfect sense. You got to know yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And the part with alcohol for me was like, it gave me like a softness to access it. Like, it did give me access to pieces of myself that I just blew through in life, just to raw dog my way through all of the crazy ass stuff I was doing when I had no idea, but everybody thought I knew exactly what I was doing, and I had no clue. And then, and it softened the edges for me. It made me nicer until it didn't.
Yeah. Yes.
Because the come down from alcohol ain't good either.
God, I just don't miss it, like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not even, I'm not even tempted that I'm going to backslide because
Me
like
neither.
I I like myself too much now. You know, back then I didn't like myself enough, and that's okay. Like I forgive her because she had no reason to believe that she was good enough, but I know that she is now. Like, and I know it sounds so weird to hear someone talk about it's, I'm referring to my inner child, like
Yeah.
that little girl, like, and it helps me to stay grounded in moments where I'm like, wow, am I being selfish? Am I being whatever? No, I am protecting that little girl that needed protection. And every time I do that, every time I give her a voice, every time I advocate for her, even if it's something small, even if it's like, even if it causes a little bit of discomfort in a situation where I maybe didn't need to because it would have been fine without it, every time I establish a boundary, I'm teaching her that she's allowed to say no. I'm teaching her she's allowed to love herself. She's allowed to have parameters for who has access to her because we didn't have that growing up. And I mean, not to get like into like quantum entanglement or anything, but I'm sure we're on the same page about that. Where I
Yes.
genuinely believe that when you heal one part of you, you heal
Oh,
all parts of you.
ripple effect. Yeah.
It's and so for me, it's like, no, I'm not. It's not even it's literally not even about me. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with her. That's my kid. I'm taking care of her till the day I die. You know, there were so many times I didn't want to be here anymore. I don't want her
Oh,
to ever feel like
yeah.
that, you
Oh
know?
my God. I've said it a million times. Like
Yeah.
I stayed up late my whole life because I did not want to wake up in the morning and deal with another fucking day. I just
Yeah.
could not do it. It was too exhausting. It was just
Yeah.
horrifying. And now it's so crazy to say this. It's not so crazy to say, but from me to say, okay, at like if I'm tired at the end of the day, I've given a lot because I do, and then to just go, and then start thinking negative thoughts. And then I go, okay, we're not going to do
Mm-hmm.
that. You're going to go
Yep.
put, like, I talk to myself how I would treat,
Yep.
how good of a caretaker I am because I have been one my whole life, right? I
Yep.
caretake me. Okay, honey, you're really tired. You're not going
Yep.
to think those thoughts anymore. You're going to push that out of your head. And I have the
Yep.
room to do that now. I don't have the rumination stuff that I used to have because I'm not overstimulated. And I
Yep.
just go to sleep and I sleep and I
Mm-hmm.
wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, because I feel so good. That was the
Yeah.
medicine, a good night's sleep.
That's it. It's
And
huge.
writing. Tell me about your process with writing. Like, how has that
Oh.
shaped your life?
So I'm getting back into writing again somewhat recently after not writing for a long time, but I went to school for creative writing and I was pretty heavily medicated on alcohol at the time. Um, I was very into the Hemingway's write drunk, edit sober
Yeah,
philosophy.
which is
I don't remember if it
weird,
was
but
Bukowski
yeah.
or Hemingway.
And
Huh?
Hemingway. It was Hemingway. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure. Of course you know. Of course you know.
Probably both,
Well,
to be honest.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I did also love Bukowski. He was another famous alcoholic, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I had this fiction professor at FSU, Mark Weingartner. He's like nationally, he's a great professor, and he works also at the PhD level at FSU, which is I think they're number 2 in the country for their creative writing program at the PhD level, or they were at the time. And one of the things that he said, I think it was the first class, he says, I'm not condoning drugs or alcohol, but they've always worked very well for me. And we all died because we're like, hell yeah, a bunch of alcoholics. Yeah. You don't
Is
end
it
up in a
4
fiction
o'clock?
workshop.
Where's my gin rummy? Woo! Yeah. Let's start writing.
Yeah. You bring your little water bottle that you filled up with the MD 2020 from the 7-Eleven at the corner.
So you're like, oh, Everclear in a big gulp sounds really good. I did it as a teenager. I'll do it now too. Yeah.
Yeah. God, like
Why
I
would
love that
with
version of myself,
strangers?
but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was like, why I would sit and think as a teenager, I'd be like, why am I in a field behind some store that's been abandoned with a bunch of strangers drinking Everclear in a big gulp? And I was like 15. How did this happen?
Yep. Yeah, that's it sounds it sounds like we have very similar experiences.
Childhood experiences. It's great though to be able to talk about them, be like, yeah, this is how we coped without that
Yeah.
shame layer that, addiction and all that talk. I mean, and I was steeped in that world, but But anyway, yeah. Okay. So back to the writing. So there was that, there was the alcohol piece to that. And then, so how do you feel about getting back into it now, coming from this new place that you're at?
It's a completely different, it's a completely different part of my brain I'm pulling from now, because back then I was altering my mood so I could alter my mind. Now I'm able to sort of, what happens is I'll feel, like like we were talking about earlier, where when your nervous system is regulated, it almost feels like you become like a channel. And that's how I feel now, where it's like sometimes, now that I'm letting myself feel my feelings, which is incredible, but also sucks a lot. I don't like doing it, but I have to. It's one of those things that I'm getting better at, but there's still a part of me that wants to fight it. So it's easier sometimes for me to feel my feelings if I just sit there and I write a poem, because I can make sense of the feeling without having to really make sense of it. Like, that's the greatest thing about poetry, is that it doesn't have to really make sense to anyone but you.
Yes.
And it is, it's like this other part of you, or source, universe, whatever you subscribe to, that's giving you wisdom from both your body and like your consciousness. And I don't know how to explain it other than it, like right now it is helping me to just sort of embrace the fact that, like, because I drank for so long, I kicked a very large can down the road that carried a lot of emotions, valid emotions, valid traumas, fears, concerns. And so now, and again, in order to make sure my inner child feels safe, I see it as her bringing those to my attention. And I'm struggling with it sometimes. So I'm just doing the best I can to process what she needs me to. And poetry is helping with that. I've just been using my journal app to kind of write stuff down. And I'm sure at some point I'll sit down at the computer and actually edit and stuff. But right now it's more of just like a
Yeah. Getting it
cathartic
out.
release valve. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I do it this way. I mean, I've always written and spoken publicly, but I got slammed all the time and I just got used to being slammed. I mean, I'll be giving a speech about something, or I do a show with, so Bill Cosby survivor talking about what they went through, and then immediately get doxxed because of people getting angry. So that's a whole separate thing. And I got used to that. And now the writing is taken front and center, and it's like I am regulating my nervous system real time, and I'm just
Yep.
doing it publicly, and I did it for me, and it seems like it's catching on with other people, which is fine, but they have their own experience of what it is I'm saying, and that's not for me to like decode or what. It's just like honor that, and feel honored that that's touching somebody else. Good. That's my nervous system that I'm putting on display. Everything I write is literally, this is what happened to me today, this is what
Yep.
I'm thinking about right now.
And that's literally my favorite thing about TikTok. And when I tell you that it's changed my life in a way that it sounds ridiculous to articulate, and I think that people who don't have the same experiences that we've had, and people who don't use the application the way that we do, like, I think I sound ridiculous to people when I say this in my real life. And I'm okay with it at this point,
Same,
because
same.
I've never felt more understood in my entire life. Like, there's no other place I've ever been where I've been like, I'll read like your poetry and I'd be like, literally that that that's, I believe in the collective consciousness when I
Yes.
read someone else's work, or I hear someone else say exactly what's in my heart, and I'm like, yes, those are the words. Those are the words. That's exactly it. And it's, even if it doesn't even matter what the combination of the words are. It's, you found, it's like a code where you connected to that part of me, where it's like, yes, you get it. I'm not alone. I feel so seen. And when you are someone who has spent your entire life being told that who you are is wrong,
Yeah.
just having someone else feel the same thing as you, it's like, well, if I'm wrong, then they're wrong too, and that's two wrong people. Okay. And that's good enough for me, like, yes. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just get really excited when I find people like you on this app, because it's so vulnerable to do this.
Oh my God, it is. And I'm not to the point where you are, where I'm directly talking to the camera. I'm used to doing shows and talking to other people, but I'm not at a place of, and I don't know if I will be, I don't know if I need to do that. I don't know, but I see how this is so important. And even with YouTube before TikTok, but TikTok takes it to a whole other level of
It
authenticity.
does. Yeah.
It's people wanting to be witnessed. Like that's what it is. And so if you get up and you do a silly dance, and I even like had some weird ego things about that. And now I'm like, no, if somebody needs to get up and do a silly dance in front of a fire, do it, because they're just trying to be witnessed. And that's why so many neurodivergent people just go TikTok, zoop. And I don't care. Like I was talking to a family member, I haven't spoken to him forever. And he was like, you're on TikTok. And I could feel the judgment coming. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what you think about it.
Mhm.
Let's move on to a different
Exactly.
topic, because I'm not even going to try to explain it to you. He's all, and you
Yep.
write under a pen name, and let's not. I literally went like this.
Yep.
Let's not even go there. Tell me about your kids, because I just
Yep.
I'm not gonna justify. I'm not gonna try to explain
Yep.
to the uninitiated. He doesn't need to care. It's not something he would ever do. That's fine.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point in my unmasking where I basically just say, yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
No,
I just don't want to.
so freeing.
Huh? Yes. So like, especially because like with my mom, I love my mother so much, but when people are in a stressful situation, they're like, oh my God, I just wish I had my mom. I love my mother, but the last thing I need in a stressful situation is my mother.
Oh my God. Same. No.
So
Yeah.
I've just gotten to the point with her and like everybody else in my life where I'm like, I'm so sorry. I know that your intentions are good. You want to be helpful, but I'm not interested in your feedback. I don't want to have this conversation. And I don't really like, I hear you, but this is not what I need from you right now. So let's move on.
Isn't that, it's so freeing. It's so freeing. I just did that with somebody. They jumped right in. Well, this is what you should say here. And I'm going to go to the person you're talking about. And I'm going to say this. And I went, whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. I don't need you to tell me what I just said, because I know what I just said. I wasn't asking for your interpretation of it. And thank you for caring, but no, do not go and be a flying monkey for me in this situation. I know I've got it handled.
That's
Thank
so
you.
funny. Can I tell you a quick story? Last week, I was at my neighbor's house and we were just talking, smoking a little bit together, and I had established a boundary with her because she was making me uncomfortable about something. I was like, "Hey, boundary, polite boundary," and she's like, "Oh, well, you should blank, blank, and blank." And I was like, "I don't have to be here, so I'm gonna go." I actually don't have to do anything that I don't want to fucking do. Like, here's the thing. It's very much like a boomer thing where boomers are like, you need to do that. I don't even need to be alive right now. Okay. Like literally, you're not going to tell me fuck shit unless you're paying my bills. You don't need to say anything to me. Okay.
How did you feel about people in your past? Like people that had those kind of boundaries in my past, I was terrified of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, because I knew I was a freaking mess. And
Mm-hmm.
I had no, and they were like a hard no. And I took that as judgment. And now I'm like, oh, I get what this is. This is awesomeness.
It is what it is. But yeah, absolutely. Like I think it's so funny. And I'm sure you can probably agree that if you were to put the different versions of yourself in a room all together, they wouldn't all get along. They might
No.
respect each other, like each other, but
You know what? I think here's the thing. Yes, that was true for a long time. Just recently, like in the last this year, because I did, oh my God, the amount, that's a whole other show, and we're coming down to time. But
yep.
just this year, I now could be in a room with all of those people and absolutely love her and be like, you're, oh my God, and love every component. But man, the journey to that has been like, wow. Just, I know I'm like wowing everywhere. My Southern California accent is coming in, but it's so true.
Wow.
Now I can go, yep, the person that did this, the person who acts like that, the person here, even the ones that I'm like, oh, because to me, when you have this room now and you process your stuff and you keep creating expansion for yourself to be able to
Yep.
process, because you need a lot. You need a lot of room. We are so fucking sensitive. We need a lot of internal room, which means less peopling. Even though we love people, it really does means like less peopling. You create this room, and then any wound or flaw that you would have been trying so hard to like mask out of existence, that goes away. Now you have this room and you see this flaw and you go, oh, it's just data. Oh, well, I can work with that. Okay,
Yep.
tell me this thing you saw. Okay, huh. And I don't go to shame. I just go, all right, I can look at that. And sometimes I look at it and go, no, that's not my thing.
Oh
And
my God,
I go,
can we do this again and just do an episode only on exactly this? Because I
yeah,
would love to talk to you more about this. This is actually something that I'm like in the throes of exactly what you're describing right now. And using TikTok as a space to sort of excavate the shadow and process it in real time. It feels so, it feels cathartic, and it feels so nice to feel attuned to, but it also in a way feels like, should I be doing this? Like, is this something that I'm even allowed to do? It feels so like it's so effective. If I'm being honest, it almost feels like a cheat code to
yes, it
process your
is.
shadow. I really, because you go so much deeper, so much faster, and it's not in any way that's like forced. It's like I don't know how to explain it other than it's almost like instead of trying to force your way through like a pinhole, the hole just expands.
Yes.
Do
I
you
always
know what I'm
tell people,
saying?
yes, yes. I always tell people, look, you're a Bucati. Okay. That's a very expensive car that runs
Mm-hmm.
on like jet fuel or something like that. That's
Yep.
what you are. But you've been running around treating yourself like a Yugo and putting,
Yep.
putting straight alcohol in the gas tank. That's what society tells you to do. That's the rooms you go in. And you got to
Yep.
realize that you're actually a Bucati. And that's not a, and forgive me, automobile enthusiast, if I said that wrong, but I learned that from a mechanic who also, his name's Joey. Hey Joey, shout out to you. Also had no idea how he's wired, but he's a mechanic, and he's like, oh well, I'm just a dumb mechanic. And I'm like, no, you're not, because I can see the brilliance in the way that he talks and the way he figures out stuff. And I had to wear my decoder ring at times to figure it out, but like I get it. And he's the one who said, yeah, the Bucati needs to be on the salt flats where you can just go, 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 go. But if you don't give it regular tune-ups and leave it in the garage sometimes to just settle and do all, you don't drive a Bucati through the busiest street in India. No, you put it on, you can go do that, but then you're going to need to regulate later from all that. And that is what gives you that room. So hell yeah, we'll do a show about figuring that out, and then how you sort of navigate yourself and relationships once you.
God, I would love to do that episode with you because I feel like that's the next step after, right? Where it's like you remove the alcohol, which is the thing that keeps you from yourself.
Yep.
And then once you remove that barrier to yourself, then you all of a sudden have access to a lot of information that you need to make sense of. And I think that if I'm being honest, the number one thing that I think all human beings on this planet could use more of is attunement,
Yeah.
genuine attunement, just being listened to and having themselves reflected back to them in a way that's non-judgmental. And I would love I want to talk about shame in that the next time we talk too, because shame is such a big part of this. And I don't think that there's any emotion more useless or harmful than shame.
Oh my God. And I have a whole thing about how we're, the whole thing where they say you are born into being a human being, whatever anyone's religious or spiritual experience or belief is. I think that you say, oh, you pierce the veil, and then you awaken. I feel like part of the human experience is, in order to take yourself and press yourself into matter, right? Like you're just consciousness, and then you go to this experience as a human, and you're pushing yourself into something that has form. Guess what layer you have to use in order to do that kind of compression? Shame. So we are like born into wearing a coat of shame just to survive this place. And then you spend your life, it's not piercing necessarily a veil for me. It's getting rid of that fucking shame layer, like walking through that. And every time I do, I look back and go, oh, I see why I did all that shit here. And I've moved through it. And then it's another layer.
Yep. Oh God, yeah. No, absolutely. And it's never ending. And it's one of those things that like when you start healing, you think that at some point you'll reach a point where you feel like you've healed enough. And the truth is like I do feel like I've reached a point where like I don't need to like hyperfixate on this anymore. Like I
Yeah.
need to live. That's a part of my process now, is
Yes.
literally just living. I need to experience new things and have corrective experiences. That's where I am. But yeah, I mean, you're always going to find a new little box with some shit inside of it. They're like, man, I wish I forgot about that. I could have gone the rest of my life without saying that box. And I would have been just fucking fine. But you know what? That's fine. I guess I'll deal with it.
It's
So yeah,
data that you can chew on and write with and create.
yes,
That's the part where that's where I look for, and we'll talk about this in the show too. Now
yes,
I'm not afraid when I start to feel tension and conflict coming up. I used to go, oh God, oh God, oh God, I get a brace for impact. Oh, why is this happening? What do I don't want to move through. I don't want to learn things this way. And now I go, ooh, I'm feeling some conflict. I'm going to write about it and dive in it because such gold comes out of it.
yep,
What a
yep.
different way to experience life. Like
Oh
tension
my,
is helpful, especially with mind body
yes,
powers.
yes.
Like a
Emotions is
governor that we can put on ourselves and go, oh,
yes,
okay, okay. All right, we will do another show. So,
yeah.
where do people find you? How do they find you to listen to you?
TikTok, Alicioli official. I know my handle is kind of hard to read, but it's
I'll
an
put
old
it in the
nickname.
description. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm also on YouTube, but like my YouTube is mostly my older real estate content that I recently re-uploaded. So if you're interested in learning about buying your first house in Florida, go to the YouTube. It's alicioli.official on YouTube because it didn't let me get my thing. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't even go on Meta much anymore because it's
Yeah.
just it feels so
Why?
corny. Yeah, exactly.
It's like why bother Insta? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. I like TikTok. I'm good, and Substack where I can just
Yep.
let the horse out of the barn on Substack and then whittle it down into TikToks. That's my favorite thing to do. How creative can I be with my writing? How much can I edit this without feeling like I'm editing myself like the past? That's what I love about TikTok. It's like, how can I go with what I just wrote and find all the sentences that I said? Because I orate everything. I don't type, it's too slow for me. I orate the whole thing and then I start switching sentences around. And how much can I compress that for TikTok without feeling like I'm compressing myself? That's been
Yep.
so pivotal.
Brilliant.
Anyway, okay. So, yes, we'll do another show. Stay on. We're going to talk for a second after. But listeners, oh my God, go find this woman and read her stuff, watch her stuff. It's amazing. It's like a shot of truth. It's amazing. I'm a fangirling. Oh,
Thank you. Wow.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on. Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me.
All right. We will tune in to you guys next time. And we will have Alicia on Lawn Chairs in Space, my other show, where it's all about neurodivergence every day of the week. So, yeah.
Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.